And thank you all for choosing to spend your time with me. Today I have a keiki video, I guess, if you can say that. I'm going to be working with keikis. So I started this video almost a month ago. I wasn't ready to detach some of the keikis that I wanted to detach on this video, or to separate, I should say. And I think I'm ready now. I have this Dendrobium Second Love here, but I mean, it grew a keiki. It's quite large, and I believe I'm ready to separate it. It has some good roots there. I'm just gonna go ahead and separate it, put it in its own pot, and see how it does. Just broke the pot there. Then I have this Dendrobium Burana Jade Fantasy. It's a beautiful flower, but I don't know if you guys remember, I had mentioned in one of my updates that it completely lost all the roots. I really thought it was going to be a goner. I was actually getting ready to throw it out, but I ended up putting it in a corner and forgetting about it. And look at that. Just keikis everywhere on this plant. And I'm going to go ahead and separate 2 of them and probably leave the other ones there. I feel like they're too small. But I will be removing this one here. I think it's one of the largest ones. And let me show you guys this keiki up here. It has a lot of roots. I hope you guys can see that well. A lot of roots, and it's a pretty big keiki. As you can see, it already lost all the leaves. They're yellowing. This cane, I don't think it has any roots left whatsoever. I'm keeping these 2 in the pot because they're low enough so I don't have to disturb them, but the other ones that are quite high up like these, I'm gonna remove. But like I mentioned, for now I'm just gonna remove this one and the one up here, and I'm gonna leave those to get a little larger, because look at this one. If I remove it now, it's not gonna survive. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then I had, and I say I had because I threw it out, a Dendrobium kingianum that was just always infested with mealybugs. I don't know what was wrong with that plant, but it was always putting out keikis. And if I'm not mistaken, and like I said, I'll put the footage in there, it was 10 keikis overall. Alright guys, so I have this kingianum orchid here, right? And I don't know what to do with it anymore. I was just about to throw it out. It's dry, it's infested in mealybugs. It doesn't matter what I do. Every month I feel like I treat it at least 3 times throughout the month, and they just keep coming back. There's another keiki here. I'm not too concerned about it. I've already pulled these 10 off, and that should be good. As you can see, there was another keiki that was about to sprout from there. This one here I just showed you. There's another one there. Look at that. So ever since I got this plant, all it's been sprouting is keiki after keiki. And I understand that if the plant is sick, it's just going to try to reproduce itself, so it starts sprouting keikis. And I mean, that's good, right? I want keikis. I just don't want tons of keikis, which is my case here. But I'm going to try to save these keikis, so I have 10 right here. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pot them in the solo cups. I'm going to put them under some LED lights and see how they grow. Worst case scenario, they all die. If they survive, then these keikis will make good gifts for someone. And I didn't think they were going to survive. I decided after all not to put it in the solo cups like I said I was, because I didn't have the room. I don't have the room actually with all my other keikis. I'm sorry, with all my other seedlings. I don't have any room, not right now, because I moved everything indoors and I only have one shelf because it's kind of cold outside. But I wanted to show you guys this, and I'm actually going to leave these here for another month or two, or until I feel like they've outgrown this. but I hope you guys can see this without the glare. So every keiki grew a growth. So that's the keiki there. You can tell because the cane just looks like it's firm, right? And the new one looks young. It looks like a young growth. Look at that one there too. You see that? So every single keiki grew a new growth. Even the smallest ones. I hope you guys can see that there. You see that? New growth here. This one's a new growth. That's a keiki. New growth here. Keiki. This one's a keiki. And the one there is a new growth. So, I mean, they're doing really good, you guys. I'm very surprised. I really didn't think they were going to do so well. But, hey, nature has its own way of, you know, surviving. And these are just doing amazing. The only thing is that I'm a little concerned because, like I said, this plant, the mother plant was like completely infested with mealybugs. And I treated these with alcohol solution before, but I don't know if you can see that there. It's a little powdery, so I don't know if mealybugs are in there and I just can't see them. But see, those are not mealybugs. I don't know what that is. Let me see if I can get it without disturbing too much. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I mean, they're doing amazing, you guys. I just wanted to show you guys this. I'm going to start with the Dendrobium Second Love, just because it's one keiki and I feel like it's going to be very simple. So look at that. The cane is getting, the keiki was just getting too heavy for the cane. That's why I want to remove it, because I keep hitting the keiki with my other pots and it's time it goes. It needs its own home. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I've already sterilized. I actually used Clorox and then to disinfect, and then I sterilized with heat on my stovetop. I can't find my other shears, so I'm going to use these scissors. But I'm going to go ahead and just, well, let me see if I can just break it off. Oh yeah, oh. Ooh, I left the root there. Oh no. Can you see that? Oh, I cut off a root. But, look at that. It's got two good roots. I'm gonna put some cinnamon there. I'm gonna try not to put too much of it because there's little new roots poking. Let's see if I can get you in there. I hope you guys can see that, but there's a little tiny root growing there and one right over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and use some cinnamon and just put a little dab right there where I made the, I think I was too far off, I'm sorry. Okay, there. So look at that. Pretty clean cut, if I may say myself. It's a decent sized keiki. And I have these tiny little plastic pots here, and I'm gonna pot it on that one. Soak it first for a little bit, and then I'm gonna let it dry. This cup here is a mixture of filter water, calcium, and a few drops of my Orchid Pro solution, the fertilizer. So I'm gonna leave it soaking for a bit, a good 5-10 minutes. While I cut the other ones off, I'm just gonna go ahead and sterilize my scissors again. I want to make sure that I don't introduce any new pathogens or any type of infections to the new keikis. So you want to make sure you do that. Alright guys, so let's get in there. See how I can do this without... I'm so sorry you guys, I just realized that never started my camera, and I removed both keikis off camera. I'm so sorry, I do apologize for that, but what I did was that on the keiki here, which was this one here, I got a clean cut, and I only actually cut a little bit of the old cane there, and you can see I was trying to keep all the roots together. I don't want to break any like I did on the other one. So that's the keiki. Very little damage to the keiki. As you can see there, that's where I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon, because that's where I detached the keiki from. So I want to make sure it dries pretty well. Alright, so that's the first one where I removed it. The second one was higher up, and you can see there, I didn't even use any scissors or anything. I just used my fingers, applied pressure up here, and pulled at the same time. As you can see, I have some of the cane here. I'm gonna go ahead and apply some cinnamon to it too. To be honest with you, I wasn't too worried about the cane, because look, I ended up cutting the leaf there, because as you can see, the cane was pretty much dry. So I was already planning on cutting the cane after removing the keikis. I'm sorry, you guys, I do that a lot. It's like I can't speak and do two things at the same time. I don't know why. So you end up hearing me, you know, saying something with a lot of spaces or a lot of breaks in between. But as you can see, here is the keiki. I think I'm just gonna cut this part of the cane. There you go. And I'm gonna put some cinnamon there. I'm also gonna soak these in the same solution of calcium and the Orchid Pro fertilizer before I pot them. So the other one should already be ready for me to pot. So this is the Dendrobium Second Love. Alright, so I ended up putting the other ones to soak while this one dried up a little bit. Alright, so I want to put some cinnamon there, and I have to be very careful not to get it on the roots, which I just did, of course. But you can always clean it off, because I don't want the roots to dry out. I just want the little incision I made to dry out. I'm just going to use some moss and bark on these. So the mother plant, I have it in bark, moss, and a little bit of rocks, but I feel like the rocks might not be necessary at all. To be honest with you, it's all in my head. I think it retains moisture. It may not, I don't know. I haven't done any research on it. I just like to add the rocks. But I'm not going to do it in this case, though. I have some bark here. And some moss. And that's just what I'm going to use. So I rinsed the bark off, and I think I rinsed it out like twice just to get all the residue, you know, the little powdery stuff that sometimes comes in your bark. Yeah, so that's what I did. I'm gonna end up staking it so that it stays in place, but that's pretty much it, you guys. Just some bark and moss. I didn't even use that much moss, as you can see. The root is right there, so it should be fine. Keiki, and today is, what's today's date, you guys? Darn. Oh, it's the 18th. 18 November. You guys, I've worked like 2 weeks straight, no days off. Today's like my first day off. So I've lost track of the days. I really have. But there you go. There's a Dendrobium, second love. Beautiful keiki. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other 2 keikis. I'm actually going to pot them in the same pot. Hopefully if they make it and they get large enough, I can always separate them. I think I'll be fine. This little pot is quite big. I don't know what size they are. I like reusing these things, you guys. Don't judge me. But I ended up buying some arroz con leche from one of my favorite grocery stores here. And yeah, these were the little serving cups. They come with a lid. I clean them out, make some holes, and I use them as pot. Alright, so here are the Burana, the Dendrobium Burana Jade Fantasy. And I'm also going to make labels for these. I'm also, of course, going to apply some cinnamon to them. I might have to try to get this off camera, you guys, because every time I try to do it in front of the camera, I end up getting cinnamon on the roots. But I'm going to try it. If I can, I'll just do it off camera, but there, a tiny bit. Oh, I got it on the roots. Can you see? Might dry off. Let's see. I hope they do well. Look at this one already. The roots were already massive for a keiki. And I think that's because the roots were reaching. They were trying to get down to the bottom of the pot. And you can tell because look at that. I already have some bark. So I'm going to actually put them close enough. I'm going to have to pull some of the media that I put. I have to pull out some of the media that I already put in there. Let's see. Let's try this again. Just a tiny bit because those roots were pretty long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to lower it low enough, but close enough to where one's not sitting lower than the other. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. I'll see you guys at the end. I'm almost done. I'll show you guys the final product and what my keikis look like. Alright guys, this is what my keikis look like. This is the Burana Jade Fantasy, and I removed 2 keikis. I still have 3 keikis to remove, but they're too young, so I'm gonna leave those for another time. I only remove the ones that I feel that can already survive from, that will benefit from being actually removed from the mother plant, which are these 2. Then I have the Dendrobium second love, and it's just 1 cane, but I'm hoping soon it's gonna multiply and be a big plant just like the mom. Even though it's a small young plant, it's a decent size. Look at that. Canes are still growing. You can tell they're still growing up here because the leaf is still developing right here. This one might have already stopped growing, but if you can see, they're already taller than the other canes. Maybe not as thick, which it's kind of a shame because I feel like that just reflects me not feeding it properly. Look at that. The canes are slightly thinner down here than they are up here compared to the older ones. Look at that. This is a new one here. And you see the difference between the older cane and the new cane. So I might be lacking something here. If you guys have any suggestions on what it might be, I stopped using the Miracle Grow fertilizer a while back when I realized that it had no benefits as far as well, I wouldn't say benefits, but it lacked some nutrients, in other words, right? And I ended up purchasing a calcium 5% solution that I actually add on top of my Orchid Pro solution, and I do half and half, and I've been fertilizing more often, so hopefully that makes a difference. But yeah, it's a beautiful plant. That's it, you guys. I will keep you guys posted on these Kingianum keikis. I don't have an ID. I don't even know what the bloom looks like, the flower looks like, but I will keep you guys posted, and we'll see how they do. Alright, you guys, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, any tips for me, do leave those in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't, please consider subscribing to my channel. Really appreciate it, and thank you all for your support. Alright, that's it, you guys. You guys have a good day. Bye.